Hey, GM, everybody. How's it going?
Hey.
Let me try to pull everyone up on stage here. Do you guys want me to play some intro music, or do you guys have anything?
Yeah, throw some tunes on.
Okay, give me one sec.
While that's happening, I'll pull some people up. Get Toadie up.
Hello, GM. What's up?
GM.
GM, everyone. How's it going?
Hey, Toady, how you doing?
Doing awesome.
Good, Toady. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are all the Lils doing today?
What up? What up?
Good.
So cool to
Very
see.
good, GM.
So cool to see that you guys have Noah here with us today. I'm super excited for the conversation.
We got the one,
Hello,
the only
thank you
Mr.
for having
Noah.
me.
Yeah, what's going on,
Thank
buddy?
you. Right now I'm laying in a beanbag and my cat is sitting in my lap. And he's sneezing like really loud, so you may hear my cat sneeze. He was boarded over the holidays, so I think he caught something.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
I think I speak for everyone when we appreciate your candor and the level of detail.
I'm a candorous person. I'm very candorous.
I just chalk it up to him being an artist there, and bringing out, all this, being in this art world and him wanting to express himself. So it's very much appreciated, Noah. Thank you for expressing yourself in our show.
English and Crusher, do you mind if I take care of a couple little housekeeping items right off the top and then pass it over?
Go ahead.
Awesome. So everybody joining, welcome. This is one of our many combination spaces. As you know, if you listen to us every day, we do a spaces at 9 o'clock every single day, but that moves because the Nouns auction settles at a different time every day. So because of that, we sometimes collide with some of our soapboxes that are happening throughout the day. And this is one of those such collisions. Normally, the Little Nouns have their awesome show at 6 p.m. EST every single Monday. But today, since we're colliding, we're going to collaborate and do a little bit of a combo show. So what's going to happen is we're going to pass it over to the Little Nouns. They're going to have an awesome interview with Non-Fungible Noah. And then around 6:35, we're going to take the reins back just briefly because that's exactly when the Nouns auction is going to end. We're going to play a little game called fomonouns where we choose the next noun of the day. We're going to play a very quick game called Nouns where we can rescue one of the nouns that we weren't able to pick, and then we'll pass it right back over to Little Nouns so they can continue their conversation. Once they're finished with Noah and he's done being candorous, then we will have our own guests on after that. We have some folks coming on to talk about Nouns Prop 175 for Prop Box, the first prop from UglyDAO. So that's what's on the agenda. Before I pass it back over to Little Nouns, make sure you retweet the room. We will do our normal everyday picker, 0.069 ETH to one person who retweets the room. So please do that while you're waiting. And of course, we'll still have our POAP and everything a little bit later. So that's all the housekeeping, I think. And I'll pass it over to you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Crusher, you want to introduce our guest and get us going?
I will. Thanks, English. Yeah, and I know we're on a little bit of a time crunch. There's 33 minutes and 54 seconds and counting for the Nouns auction to end. So, but I want to jump right in with Noah. And just to give Noah some flowers, too, when I approached him about potentially coming on the show to talk about Howlers, and I knew Act 3 was coming up, he said, I would love to do a show, especially with, he said, I think it's wonderful to do a show with a Howlers holder and with people that have been active in the community, which just shows the kind of guy he is too, and the commitment he has. But no, if you don't mind, just take us back. You've got an amazing history in Web3 and before that in the I think you called it ye old art world. So can you talk a little bit about that and what brought you into Web3?
Oh man, yeah. Ye old art world. Still feels like just yesterday, man. I worked in art at auction, which is a very specific sector of the art world, for like 13 years combined, I think. It's the only thing I ever did that I was paid for. When I was in college, I interned at the Gagosian Gallery, but after 4 years, they did not hire me. So that was cool. But I went to work at Sotheby's, the other big auction house, where I cut my teeth, learned a little bit about business, and then went to work in the contemporary art department at Christie's, which is really where I just wanted to be in contemporary art. In college, I was making music, and that was my preferred mode of expression. Like, I've always been a creative person, and so the only thing I knew I didn't want to do was music, because then if I was doing it to make money, then I wouldn't do it out of a pure desire to just make music. So that I knew I couldn't do that for my career. So I got an internship in art, and then I just stuck around, because art, at least the art business and the art market, is one of the most absurd marketplaces on the earth. It's really weird that we ascribe so much value to collectibles and paintings and drawings and stuff, just stuff, really. And then like the additional layer of there being like this ritualized aspect to collecting it and bidding on it, and all of that was very interesting to me. Really, it still is too.
That's super cool.
No,
Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, just quickly. I just random off the top of my head. Were you an art history major in college? You could just reference college a couple times.
Yeah, I had a weird double minor situation. I minored in French and art history, but my major was English. But yeah, I did study art history in college.
I got those vibes when you said like I didn't get paid for anything for a while, and then I had to figure it out. And I just knew a lot of art history majors in college. That's cool. You referenced also, and this is kind of off the cuff too, not part of our plan things, but since you're here, I had a lot of friends that recommended a book. I think it was called like the $12 million Stuffed Shark, and I haven't read it myself, but I think it's based on that, right? Like the pricing.
Yeah. The $12 million Shark. I've read it. It's a good book. It's a good book about the art market of like the 90s, like the late 90s, early 2000s, which is not the art market of today. It's interesting. But if you really want a fascinating art world read, check out Caveat Emptor by Ken Perenyi. Ken Perenyi, KenPerenyi. This dude was a master forger, and he would forge such amazing fake paintings in the 90s. He would sell them directly through Christie's and Sotheby's. He would walk in with these fakes that he'd make in his backyard in a shopping bag or whatever, and he would put them up for sale. He sold one painting for like $500,000, and he beat the statute of limitations, so he was able to write this tell-all book about the experience. And man, is that an amazing read.
The only thing I would say about that book, though, Noah, is buyer beware.
Yeah, well, that's the title.
Why? Because it's a fake?
No, Caveat Emptor is Latin for buyer beware, dude.
I'm just being silly.
That's funny, dude. All right, go ahead, Crusher. Sorry I interrupted your interview. I just had a couple questions off the top of my head.
No, you're totally good. So Noah, so you were at Christie's, and then what brought you into the NFT space? Did Christie's take an active role in it, or was that you sort of diving into NFTs and saying, hey, we should do this? Or
I joke around. I joke around and say it was like almost an accident. It really was. The pandemic was a really weird time for everybody. It still is a weird time. But I was in the office literally on January 6th. I remember it vividly, because what a weird day that was, right? And my colleague, who also happened to be at the office at Christie's in Rock Center, asked if I'd be interested in putting an NFT in my auction that I was putting together. And this was the reason that she asked me, is because I was the online sales guy. Like, I ran the online sales for the contemporary department in New York. So, it just made sense for me to review the opportunity. And I barely knew what an NFT was. I just said yes, and it turned out being the $69 million Beeple. And so it was kind of a fluke, really.
So that was your first NFT sale, was the Beeple?
Yeah. Yep.
That is insane. So, and I know, and I think I mentioned this to you, but I remember seeing pictures in the Howlers Discord of you and Beeple together. Can you just talk a little bit about your friendship with him and how that's come about and evolved?
Dude, I mean, that guy is, first of all, great artist and so committed to his craft. Doing that every single day, having that commitment, and following through is really amazing. I find that to be super, super compelling. But on a human level, he has this sense of humor. I think part of it comes with just having to make an artwork every single day, which is a silly task, right? It's like very arbitrary. And I think it necessarily means you're not always going to make great art. If you're obliged to do something every single day, some are going to be better than others. So he has this self-awareness to him. And it's such a sweet guy. Well, we went through like a weird trial by fire together. Those 2 weeks when the bidding was going down. That's what people forget, I think. Like that auction was not something that happened over the course of an hour or a day. It was 14 days of bidding. So it was very intense.
That's crazy. And so then from there, did that just sort of turn you on to the NFT space? Because obviously now you're much more deeply involved.
Yeah. So the first thought after that auction was, holy shit, how am I going to respond to this? I barely know, as my dad used to say, my asshole from my elbow. And I started hanging out in the Punks Discord, in the CryptoPunks Discord, at the recommendation of Justin Aversano. Shout out Justin. Just saw Justin in LA. But that was where I started to really understand what it is that this space is all about. And what got me to stick around, because I could have, after that first sale, after the Beeple auction, I very well could have just said, fuck this, turned around and gone back to doing what I used to do, which is sell paintings and, stuff like that. But I didn't, because the tech blew me away. Like that part of this, the way that the technology has this, I think, still unfulfilled, but definitely there, promise of decentralization, that is the secret sauce. That's the kicker for me.
100%. Yeah, that's it's incredible, and I've really enjoyed following you, your path. And I know we're not talking about your current position, but obviously congratulations on your role as brand lead of CryptoPunks. And we're not going to ask for any alpha or discuss that, because we're here to talk about Howlers. But congratulations to you. I know it's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you, man.
But we won't turn any alpha down either. So if you feel it just coming out in candor, then that's fine.
Hey,
See, Tony,
I can speak to what's on the Twitter. December 2nd, which is Friday. This Friday, we're having a cool party in Miami. So if you can make it, come come on through.
When is that?
At the SLS?
December 2nd at
Oh,
the
the 2nd.
ICA Miami. So Friday. It is sold out, but if you have a crypto punk, or know somebody with a punk, there's token proof. But
I know
anyway.
a guy named Noah with a punk, and I'm close to Miami.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Just DM me.
I met him like a few days ago, and he's a really cool guy. So I'm gonna hit him up on the DMs and see what he can do.
There we go. Perfect.
No, it's well, have fun down there.
I'll try. To be totally honest with you guys, I don't love Art Basel. It's a lot. It's a lot of stimulation.
Well, I think Miami in general. So I was born and raised in Miami, and I'm currently living in West Palm Beach, and I think just Miami in general is a lot. It's a lot to take in. So I understand.
But I live in Dumbo in New York City. I'm okay with a lot. It's just I think it's the event programming that gets to me. I like a city to be over the top and assaulting almost.
Assault your sensors. Well,
Yeah.
anyways, just in the sake of time, just because we are a little bit in a time crunch, we did bring up Howlers and obviously CC0. And I think I saw like a post that Crusher had shared with me, or with maybe Cardno, but just, you said Howlers is like your love letter, to the NFT world, to the blockchain world. And I think you even featured saying about the stealth mint, that there'll be a one-of-one Gremlin. So obviously kind of some inspiration behind what Gremlin was doing with the Toads and CC0. And you mentioned that you appreciated the tech. So maybe, from punks to maybe cryptodes, and how that kind of what.
So Toads is my favorite by far CryptoPunks derivative. And I'm so lucky that I got to watch Toads to a certain extent get built, get made. All of a sudden, cool people in the Punks Discord started rocking these little cute Toads avatars, and I had no idea what they were really. But eventually, I'm now, I'm friendly with a lot of the guys and gals on the Cryptodes team. So the inspiration for the Stealth Mint definitely came from them. Definitely 100% came from them, as well as the honoraries and doing one-of-ones for friends. Just a lot of that ethos I found to be really inspiring and wholesome. Also at the time, when we were marketing Howlers, there was this, I think, really unproductive and kind of toxic whitelist Olympics meta going on. Not going to name any other projects, but it just felt like, to me, there were all these demands being placed on the collector, and I couldn't really even collect NFTs anymore. I couldn't buy my own NFTs because I didn't have the time to jump through all these hoops in these discords, and it felt like work. So,
they didn't call it a whitelist grind for nothing, right?
But it was Olympics. It was like the whitelist Olympics. I saw some meme where it showed somebody achieving whitelist for a project, and it was somebody doing literal gymnastics, but like stick figures. But that's what it felt like. And so I had this idea to do what Toads did, but I fucked up incredibly because I didn't plan for going from 300 followers on the Howlers Twitter account to 33,000 in 5 days. That was not part of the plan. So if I could go back in time, God, it's my greatest regret. Like, the thing I wish that I'd done was just made the contract live before I even started tweeting about it. That would have been a proper Stealth-Mint. And I really feel fucking so mad at myself that I did it the way that I did. But it's like, this is a learning curve.
So what was the repercussions? So I wasn't around or wasn't paying attention, unfortunately, to Howlers, but I know Cardno was and Crusher was. What was like the ramifications when you tweeted it out?
So it was sold in 32 seconds.
Yeah, it just sold out really fast. And we did get a lot of complaints from people saying that the mint was botted. We looked into that. It was not nearly as heavily botted as everybody made it out to be. There were a couple of bots for sure that got around like 50 a piece. But for the most part, I mean, it was better than Whitelist Olympics, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
it's
if
like
it's
you
any
said,
consolation, though, if you had done it any other way, it still would have been wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, people would have complained for sure. One reason or
100%.
another. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
you know,
the thing. Especially at that point, it was just no matter what you tried to do, there's always positive and negatives to any way you tried to mint. It was just there's no good way to do it.
I mean, you're being very kind. You're you're maybe being too kind. I don't know. It's something that I think we've all got to be thoughtful about. You know, there were people who wanted to collect my art who couldn't, and that sucks that they got beat out by speculators. But at the same time, like I also just don't want to make people who want access to my art to feel like they have to again jump through hoops or be paying $5 an hour to somebody in another part of the world who does this like from a Fiverr account, who just wakes up and types GM all day in a fucking Discord for you. So I don't know. You're right. It's not an easy one. It's definitely going to be an issue, I think, for us for a long time, figuring out fair mints.
Okay, so Howlers mints out, and then you have Act 1, Act 2, and then I think you're going to reveal a little bit about Act 3. So maybe take us through post Howlers and the evolution and where we're at now.
I'm really excited. I don't really actually get many opportunities to talk about Howlers lore, as it were. But yeah, so we did not have any roadmap, and I aggressively dislike the idea of roadmaps. I just think they're inherently unsexy. Either they give everything away or they turn out to be flawed, unfulfilled promises. So why on earth would you do that? But anyway, we didn't go into it with a roadmap at all. Howlers was CC0. It was just art that I drew that I thought looked cool. I had one friend on the smart contract. I had one friend on the front end of the website. That was the full extent of our team. So again, really woefully unprepared for the kind of excitement there was. But within the first week, I designated a community-built Discord as the official Discord for the project. So got a shout out Socrat and Wisdom and the rest of the team over there who got the Discord up and running in those early days. But within about, I think like a week of running conversation in there, having pretty much constant idea flow, we had figured out together what Act 2 and Act 3 would look like. So this project that was CC0, no roadmap, nothing, just vibes, sort of like Toads, right? Sounds familiar. After hanging out for a week, we had a real roadmap, which was more interesting than anything I could have come up with just on my own. And now we're executing it. So the second collection that was airdropped in May is called Prey. If you're familiar with Howlers, then you know that at least the OG collection is 5,000 wolves. Prey are 5,000 prey animals. So they are, let's see here, rabbits, squirrels, beavers, elk, and sheep. Nailed it. And there are rarer types of those prey animals in the form of ghosts, robots, skeletons. Same format as the OG collection. The idea was always that Prey, the airdrop, would be the key to the third collection. So the third collection we're calling Champions, and it's definitely my favorite art of the three so far. I've put so much effort into it. There are 50 one-of-ones, as well as a Mutant Ape Yacht Club-esque version of the Howlers collection in the form of the Rabid Wolves, and then these kind of like superhero versions of the wolves in the form of the Super Wolf champions. But basically, it goes like this: you feed your prey to your howler, one prey, one howler. You get a champion. That champion can be one of three types. Depending on the type, it is either weaker or stronger for the PvP tournament. And that is the really interesting final piece of the puzzle. So we were inspired by Nate Alex's Chain Faces Arena, which I thought was a really interesting way to use the blockchain to create a competition. If you're unfamiliar, you should check out Nate. His work is amazing, but that collection, especially that smart contract, was very inspirational. So basically what we did is something similar to Chain Faces Arena, except that when you stake your champion in this contract, once the battles begin, you're not playing against the algorithm. You are going to be fighting another NFT, so another champion that has been staked in the contract. And I'm working with the really amazing people at Layer on the smart contract, Layer with 2 R's. So really excited about working with them and what they've done to create this super dynamic minting experience and the game element. I think it's going to be really fun. You know, it's basically March Madness, but with NFTs and their, crazy, bloodthirsty cartoon wolves.
No, is there any kind of like specific user interface that has with the PvP? Will we see them fighting? Is it just kind of who wins, who lost, and have
It's
like a
passive.
tournament stuff?
It's passive. So there's not going to be any animation per se. You will be able to see the entire bracket. What's cool about the front end is depending on how many people play it, this thing could be huge. But there are up to 5,000 champions that can be staked in the contract. So you'll be able to see the whole kind of network of different matchups. But when your wallet's connected, then you'll see your champions and who they are fighting.
Very sweet, very sweet. And so, what do you get out of I guess fighting these PvPs? Are there a reward system? What's going on with that?
So that's I haven't spoken on this anywhere, actually. I haven't tweeted it. I haven't even put it in the holders Discord. But what I'm planning on doing is, and this is informed by my experience in NFTs so far. Specifically, again, I keep talking about Justin. Justin Arbasano is such a fucking good guy, an amazing dude, great friend. He gifted me a Meebit early on, just so that I would have a yellow name in Punk's chat. It was such a selfless thing to do, and so kind of him. Eventually, later on, I sold that Meebit with his permission. But that was like, I started with basically no money in NFTs. So that having that act of generosity was really meaningful to me. I'm going to be giving away actually most of my NFT collection. So I'm keeping my Punk, and I'm keeping my Toad, and I'm keeping my Soul, and I think 1 Math Castles. But then, like everything else, I'm gonna gift to the winners of the tournament. So I think the most like valuable in terms of money dollar amount is the Clone X. So there's a Demon Clone X, which will go to the winner of the tournament. And then we're gonna figure out who gets the other pieces of the pie. But we decided by vote. We had a vote in the Discord, and it was decided that we would split it as opposed to it all going to one person.
Well, if you ever figure out math castles, let me know because I've never been able to figure that project
Oh,
out.
do you? We can do a whole nother episode on math castles if you want. I'll come back to talk about math castles for 40
We have
minutes.
approximately 24 hours until the next noun drops, so you're good, guys. Go ahead.
No, that's
24
good.
hours after the first 5 minutes, right?
That's right. Yeah, we
Well-
need 5 minutes, and then you get 24 hours. I think
And then we have
Joshua
24 hours.
That's right. Joshua
Yeah.
Fisher might want to talk about math castles. He likes math and castles.
I do like
looks-
math.
No
math
particular
castles.
order.
But I was actually wondering. I'm sorry, I'm showing up a little late. Have we had any howling yet? Can we get a howl? I need to know what
On
that
the ow-woo? You want to do
Ow!
the ow-woo? You can ow-woo.
Oh,
Are we going back to the goblin spaces here with
No,
the howling
please.
space?
We can't. None of that. No.
We can't go back to the before times? Okay.
But let's be
I-
honest. When
yeah.
goblins first dropped, it was pretty fun.
I mean, the price of ETH was higher. That's all I'm going to say. Not saying it's correlated.
Not financial advice.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like it's funny because like some of these things are investments, some of them are just like moments in time. Like I didn't get any money from like going to see a movie I loved either, but it was worth it and it was fun.
Well, I think it's you do anything in life because of value, right? And whether that's entertainment, friendships, money, Ethereum, whatever the case, right? So there's tons of things in the NFT space that you get value from. As cheesy as it sounds, I find it's the friendships and the time I spend with my buddies.
Friendships
money's really
for
good,
money,
too.
of course, sometimes.
100%.
Of course.
Money makes it a million times sweeter. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be hanging out together. But now that we're already hanging
English,
out
don't
together,
lie. You'd sell any of us
thirsty
for
for the
3Ds.
money, might as well kick it
Literally a million times sweeter.
a million times.
That's
sweeter,
great.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Noah.
yeah.
You spoke about Chain Faces Arena.
Uh-huh.
Recently, they brought back people's tokens that were burned before in the arena. Do you have something built into the contract like that when they lose?
So we talked about this in the chat. We're actually not. If you lose, you don't lose your token. I should clarify. If you lose after the tournament's over, you get your token back. So there's no permadeath. Like this
You
is
do
not.
you do
this is not
die
that
in real
brutal.
life. That's just
You-
but that's okay.
Yeah, no, but that has nothing to do with the contract, and you have to sign a waiver. But no, your NFTs don't get burnt. So you either lose and get your NFTs back, or you win and you might get another NFT.
Awesome.
All right, I know we got about 2 minutes. Noah, did you have to get going? Are you going to hang out with us afterwards? What's your status? I know Toady has to do his thing in about a minute or two.
Well, so
Noah,
you guys,
have you ever played
Go ahead.
FOMO before?
what is
Have you ever
FOMO?
played FOMO Nouns? It's pretty fun. It's a game that someone made almost a year ago now that kind of gamifies the settlement layer of nouns. So you kind of go on and you upvote or downvote nouns to see what the next noun of the day is going to be. It's pretty fun to play.
I'm confused
Yeah.
already, though.
So look,
You can help
basically
us
go to
pick the next noun.
Yeah, you go to a website and you vote whether you like the noun or you don't like the noun. And once we find one that everybody, the majority decides that they like, that one gets minted. So you're going to pick the next noun.
Yeah, but then now you're going to out me as somebody who doesn't understand how computers work. You guys, and also I have the cat on my lap.
No.
It's too complicated. Look, I'll leave you with this because this is true. I did not own a computer or an iPad or anything like that. I just had my smartphone until 2021. So this is all very, very new to me.
When they told Noah about NFTs, he was like, "The NFTs are in the computer? I don't understand."
I use that GIF all the time, by the way. No, but this is I'm new here. How do you are doing a giveaway on the show already, right? You're giving away some amount of ETH.
Yeah, we do a little giveaway for some retweets, retweet picker every day, just for people who retweet the room. But
Can you just let me know who that person is? Because I want to give them the prey and wolf that I set aside. I picked up a prey and a wolf earlier.
Oh, that's
so
awesome. Can we do
I'll
two?
just throw that into the mix.
Can we do 2 retweet pickers and have 2 different winners? Does that work?
Yeah, that's cool. Just
Awesome.
tell me. Just tell me who
Spread
won.
the love.
And I'll shoot them a wolf and a prey animal.
Yeah, TonyHawk.eth. Looks like it got picked already.
How did I know
Completely
that was
above
coming,
board.
by the way, dude?
But dudes, hey, thank you a lot for having me on and for letting me talk about Howlers. I don't usually get to talk about it. It's really my passion project. It's like something I do all alone, really, and get to hang out with the people who appreciate it in the Discord, and that like it's so meaningful. But CC0 is really amazing. Like this stuff is a powerful idea. And I think we're only at the very, very beginning of figuring out all the radical weird shit we can do with it. So power to y'all. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for coming, man. The one thing that I gained from, even just chatting with you in DMs along with our crew here and speaking here is your enthusiasm, almost childlike, and it's infectious. And you're the type of guest that I always love to have on the show and love chatting with. And yeah, man, you've just been great. So thank you so much for coming with us.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. You're definitely right about childish. All right. Take care, y'all.
Thank you,
Take care.
Noah. We really
Later,
appreciate
Noah.
having you.
Later, dude.
Thanks, Noah.
He's gone.
So, folks, the Little Noun Show, how do you feel that we might win a noun live during your show?
Good question.
We're pretty close here.
We like it.
We like
And
it a
for a
lot.
steal, too.
If you came for the Noah show and now you're being transitioned against your will to the 9 o'clock show, welcome.
Welcome, and we're sorry.
Welcome, and we're sorry.
I'm not sorry.
That
So we're
should be
clear.
our motto.
I really don't think anybody's sorry, dude. That's it's just a farce.
We
That
do a
was a
little
lie.
onboarding.
Okay, sorry. Welcome, and we're not sorry. Is that better English?
Yep.
That can be our new slogan instead of "Be there at the square." Welcome, and we're sorry.
I think
Welcome. We're not sorry.
Okay, I do have to say something real quick because the auction's almost over. 1:06 left in this auction. If you go to nounoclock.app, you can follow along with us. You'll see that there's a pretty cool looking bomb. He's about to go for. He's about to go for, looks like 27.69 ETH.
We got to get an SQ up here.
46
He's a little
seconds
bomb.
here before acquisitions.littlenouns.eth grabs another noun.
Never heard of her.
Let's go.
You're
Shout
tricky
out
though.
Lil.
You're getting around the nounoclock.eth by using that ENS because we can't see how many nouns you have already.
Oh, well, technically, in that
What the?
Sneaky. After that, we're going to go to fomonouns.wtf. If you're not there already, follow us over there. Fomonouns, FOMONOUNS.WTF. And as soon as this auction's over, which is in 6
There's a
seconds.
bid coming in.
Another bid.
Oh no.
Oh,
Is it really?
5 minutes.
Oh my
I
goodness.
fucking jinxed
They couldn't
it.
let you have it. They
No.
couldn't let you
Record
have it.
scratch
Who
on the
is
song.
this?
Damn.
Wow.
Oh,
To anyone who tuned in here now to watch Little Nouns get crushed, you're welcome. You should be grateful. This is entertainment. This is like the Roman Colosseum kind of situation, right? This is what the people want.
So do we bring Noah back up for
And
another?
who is this?
Who is this person?
Who is this
Well,
wallet?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's BAF, OX BAF. That's what I'm going to call it. And it's baffling to Lil Nouns why he would want to outbid them.
So close.
the Thames do something.
Thanks, Woody. So is that it, Al? I know you like to tip your hand and tell everybody live on air whether you're going to bid or not. So
I'll be right back.
BRB.
My mom's calling. Hold on.
BRB. You never want to keep
I mean,
your
with
mom
this-
waiting. That's for
With
sure.
this noun, how could you not? This is such a cool noun.
I want
It
this
is a
noun,
really cool
believe
noun.
It comes with a song. I mean, come on.
Yeah, how many
It
nouns
does. It does come with a
song?
song.
I would say
Five.
approximately
About
only
five.
5
There's
nouns
that
come with a song.
Yes.
Yeah,
5.
there's 5 nouns approximately, give or take. I don't know. Did Mike Good make any about?
Give or take.
He did
there's
actually.
5.
No, Mike Good made one about a bomb also. So there's 2 for the bomb, which doesn't seem fair.
And
but-
shout out Sounds and Nouns guy who was killing it.
Oh
on
yeah,
a
he
lot of
did. So
different
there's
nouns.
lots of
Oh, that's
nouns
a good
with sounds
point.
actually.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, we need to
Good
get him
point.
back on. Let's
I miss
let's
know.
re-noun pill the Sounds of Nouns guy. What's he doing
I've been
lately?
talking to him. He's just been busy traveling and doing
We got to
things.
put a prop in. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Let's
100%.
prop about it.
definitely wanna
Let's put
work
a
with him,
prop in for him to do work. Yeah, that'll go well.
Let's give him something to prop about.
You've been
Yeah, that's
summoned.
right. Proposing that Nate will work for us, whether he likes it or not.
Is that
20.
is that a soapbox show? Let's give him something to prop about. That's a show,
Let's
right?
prop about
It
it.
is now.
Let's prop about it is actually Little Nouns prop
But
house
like,
spaces
let's give them
on
something
Thursday.
to prop, like the song. Like,
It's
let's
not
give
exactly
them
that. I'm
something
just
to
saying
prop
it's very
about.
Let's
similar. And I
give
think it could be
That's my
something to
joint.
prop about.
I'm coming in
How
with
about
the new,
DAOs?
very similar derivative show.
Yes, our goal here at the Noun Square is to have an entire docket of soapboxes that all make a pun about the word prop. That is our ultimate goal, and once we get there, then we'll all go home.
24-hour
Oh.
prop talk on the Noun Square.
That's right. Alternately, you can also make a pun with the word DAO, Prof. So you're okay. Just in under the wire with just
Love it.
DAO it.
Yes.
I'm going to
we
start
have
a new one called Prop
always,
DAO.
always consider it. Always consider the pun when naming a show.
Of course, yeah. Even 4156 himself said that a startup's name is the most important thing about it. So there you go. If you're starting up a soapbox, you got to get a good name. Yeah, boy. Shout out Sam Ellis, who named his space once, and then ended up being the exact same name as House of Nouns Show, and then found another good name for his show. It was originally Prop Talk, actually, and then now it's a decent proposal, not an indecent
good.
proposal. People keep
I had
getting
a show
confused.
going for a little while called Nouns a couple months ago. That was
I remember when that happened, and I was like, "Oh dear." And
What about
I
prop around
DM'd you, and I was
find
like,
out?
"About that Nomo noun. This is literally something we're building, so please cease and desist."
Just
Yeah.
one big giant trademark.
Tony sent me a Discord DM cease and desist for a product that hadn't come out yet. It was great.
Yeah, that's right. It was more like a please and desist. Please don't do that. Please don't do
Yeah.
that anymore. You're ruining it. No, but I think it's
Please
crazy
and
that
desist.
that seems to happen in the Nouniverse a lot. People have a lot of
A
similar
convergent
ideas.
evolution, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Good way of putting it. All right, we got another countdown clock. You think we're gonna get another bid in here? I guess it depends on what Al's mom had to say about it. By the way, Al's mom is a signer on the multi-sig.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a bit too busy cooking dinner. I missed her.
Keeping it all in the
I can
family.
just
Al.
imagine those conversations, dude. Al, how do I sign this MetaMask transaction?
So I went to Gnosis.
All right,
All
All right, looks like we're playing the cube.
Going, let's go.
Oh, what a
Fomonouns,
cute
I'm ready
builder.
for Jeff. All right, we got a builder guy.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
cute
okay.
builder, dude.
It's all right.
That's cute.
Ooh, it's an egg.
Little
egg.
I don't like the egg. Save the egg for Easter. You know, we don't need an egg right now. Not an egg race anyway.
Yeah, it's not an egg race.
We're not getting bought it.
No, the last couple
Don't
of
jinx
days
it.
we don't talk about that. Al.
Hello.
We don't even talk about it.
Al, what are you
From
doing?
the before time.
That's right.
Don't
They've been letting us
don't drink this like the Little Nouns bid.
They've been letting us do something. Ooh, whale cow.
That's
Whale
my
steak.
favorite animal.
It's a double insult. Big
You're such a
cow
whale
whale.
cow. I like those noggles though. Were pretty cool.
How many? So many cows.
Ooh,
Do nouns
another
drink
cow.
of electric cows?
That's a cow hitting the electric fence right there. That's what that is.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Tooth.
this
a
is
lot
an aesthetic
going on.
too.
I
I
always fall
wrote
for
it down because I
the
don't like the tooth heck, but it's aesthetic.
I don't like the tooth. I don't know if it's because of like the weird discolored enamel around it. I think that's why
Yeah.
I like. Needs to brush its
So it
teeth.
just needs some
Its
whitening
tooth.
strips? Is that
Yeah,
what
we
you're
need
saying?
some
We need
Crest
to get it
whitening
some whitening
strips.
strips. All right.
We're never going to
And then it'll
onboard
just...
Crest with that tooth. Let's just say.
We need Sam to make a cartoon with a
This
tooth
is a
and a
nice duck,
toothbrush.
I gotta
Oh.
say.
Is that a
Disco
party
duck.
duck? Party
Yeah,
duck?
Brennan!
duck. Party
Brennan,
duck.
I like this
no!
one. Oh,
Okay.
no.
Yes, no.
Brennan tried, but
Oh,
it
I
didn't
thought we
work.
didn't.
I
Oh,
thought
that
we
was
were going to
weird.
get that.
One
Yeah,
hot
that
dog
duck looked
equals
like it
1
was gonna
over
settle.
n. Do the math.
It's too much.
Ooh,
N
nice.
equals.
Isn't this just 422?
Take that weed head.
Yeah, it looks very much like it.
Yeah, we've already got this one. I'm not good with that.
Yeah, we're
Whatever.
nonplussed by weed heads now.
Yeah, no, that has to be better than that. Ooh, I like this
Actually,
one.
this one, I like
Cool.
this one.
This is kind of cool with the
Apparently, I'm
yin
alone.
yang. I don't know why, but
All right.
I voted it down on instinct, and then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, no, I like this one.
Same.
yeah, I've gotten so used to voting down
Unicorn?
against the
Moving
bot. Even though the
unicorn.
bot's not here,
A little Aussie shout out.
people
I
love
like
the
this one.
unicorns.
That's a
I
nice
think
one.
every unicorn that has ever appeared in FOMO has been minted.
Including this one.
That's good.
Including
All
this
right,
one.
we got a unicorn. You guys know what time it is now?
No more
No
time.
more
Is
time.
it
It's
no more time? No more time.
Look out.
We have no more time to
Oh,
wait.
I want
Actually, you
that
have about
coin.
44 seconds. So if you want to play Nomo
All
with
right,
us,
hold
this
on.
is another game. I know, confusing. Noah actually would have been quite confused, I think. Nomo.wtf. You got to go there, and all of the nouns that we just didn't pick because we weren't quick enough or whatever are now available to be saved. Choose your character. You got 27 seconds.
Couch down,
Okay.
couch down,
I'm
couch
picking
down.
What you're going to do
Island.
is you're going to click as many
Island.
times as humanly possible to try
I
to
like-
save your noun. And the winner will be minted
Sunset
as a
Cola.
special open edition.
Yeah,
What
I
am
like
I
that.
Ooh, Gradient Cola is pretty nice, actually. Couch Dow is pretty nice, too.
Couch
Yeah,
down, the
couch
Pride
down.
House.
I like the island.
The distressed
actually,
Pride House is just my apartment.
Shoot.
I think I'm going to go with the... I think I'm going to go with the shoulderless
I
soda.
like the island, though. I like the island. I'm going with the island.
I'm probably gonna end up going on Couch Dow eventually, but for now I'm doing the distressed Pride House.
Have you guys ever tasted floating soda? It's really delicious.
Same.
Oh my god,
I'm going
it's a
with
soda
island.
What
float.
does that even mean?
Island.
It's a
Oh,
root
it
beer
stayed in
float.
place too. I love that.
It's an orange soda float.
It's a root beer float. Oh, that's funny.
No, it's an orange soda float, which are even better than root beer floats.
Oh, somebody likes the duck. Somebody's going for the duck.
Same person who tried to settle it, probably Brennan. He's probably lurking.
Brennan, is that you? Is that you? Come
Does
on,
the
I'm
beak
gonna
on the
go
duck
in
just
the
disappear into the
All right, I
background?
gotta switch now.
It does
God damn it.
It kind of does.
Yeah,
I'm
it
going
does,
to the
right?
soda. All right,
It
I'm
does.
moving.
It does, but it's not
How's
floating.
already have
though, is
100?
it?
I'm still going for Couch Dow. Why do people like the weed head?
I don't know. It's not great.
I don't. I like
Bunch
the,
of
I like the
stoners.
soda, though.
No, like this specific one, not
Soda.
the weed
All
head
right,
in
6
general.
seconds.
All right,
5
Brennan.
seconds. We got two that
good.
disappear
Cola.
into the
So good.
background. I'm happy with either, to be honest.
I like
think
the floating
Yeah,
soda,
they're both
man.
good.
I like the float. Soda float's pretty
Oh,
good.
come on.
I think I like the Brennan
Soda float,
more.
soda float, soda float. Come on, soda float.
Give me
I
the
think
soda.
Brennan.
What are you people
Nobody wants
doing?
this duck.
Come on.
All right, floating soda.
Oh, we're gonna pull it off.
Floating soda.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, that was so close. That was so
I
close.
switched to floating soda midway through.
So in other words,
Floating.
that's the only reason we won. And that's the only reason we won.
We owe the win. We owe the win to Robot Fish Girl.
That one's
Thank
pretty
you.
cool. We're doing all these
Right,
floating
that
ones.
Woody, can you take a stab at explaining to everybody who's listening why they would want to mint a Nomo after FOMO?
Yeah,
Right
absolutely.
now, .wtf.
Yeah, we
in
play
5
this all the time, and the proceeds are going to support the TNS show. So we have a daily show like we're doing right now where we do the auction. We have tons of different soapbox shows that happen every week, and by minting one of these, you can help support the show.
Is it true also, though, that you're going to choose one minter tomorrow, a lucky Nomo, to win 0.069 ETH, or is that just a rumor?
Are you just putting things in my brain telepathically, Tony?
I'm just asking the questions. You can.
Isn't it
can answer
true
them.
that you're going to?
Yes, that's quite what I heard.
But yes,
Yeah.
also by owning these, and you can speak on the specific contest, but we're going to have a lot of different contests and a lot of cool stuff coming up to gamify these things. So they're cheap, they're fun, they support the show, and we're just excited to get this thing going and build this out with the community.
By the way, did you guys see the post from Nomo today where we gave away 10 to the Nounders? That was pretty fun. I just pinned it above. So kudos
Thanks
to
for
all the
doing
people who allowed me to annoy them with trade requests and asking them, I'll trade you any of the ones in my wallet for number 80. And they're like, why? Anyway, this is why we wanted to get some significant numbers for the Nounders and send them over to nounders.eth so that they can hold them dear, hopefully.
And if you're listening, this does go up every 15 minutes in price by 0.001 ETH. So
right,
you better
the
get it
FOMO
quick
is real.
if you want to grab one. There's been a few days where I've come at like 3 p.m. the next day, and I'm like, whoa, ho, 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 ho. That's real expensive.
I better.
Yeah.
That's when Woody messages me and says, hey, bro, you got any more of those cheap Nomos?
Exactly. Hey, yeah, Toady, how many did you mint yesterday? Can you send me one?
Toady, he never sends them out to you.
That's true. I still have them. Don't worry. I've been minting 5 a day for those types of requests, so don't worry. I got you, bro. Awesome. So yeah, this is Nomo. One other thing too, which is kind of significant. Nomo sent its first transfer to the TNS Treasury today too. 1.69 ETH from the proceeds over the past week.
Poetry.
Directly to TNS. I know it's a small amount to start, but it's a good step in the right direction towards trying to find some crypto native ways to become more self-sufficient in addition to DAO funding, so we can keep doing this for a long, long time.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yay, sustainability. Yay, sustainable revenue.
Yay, I don't have to find a new job.
You might still have to.
I might still have to.
I'm going to try to bring some folks up on stage here because the guests that we had lined up for today. Well, first I should ask actually the Lils if they had anything else that they wanted to cover. I know Noah had to take off, but if you guys wanted to chat for a little bit longer before we got into our guest, be my guest.
Yeah, so we've got like our own POAP and our own ETH giveaway, and we were going to do like a little segment with Baba and SQ under the little prop house thing, just to talk about.
Let's do it.
Little reps, but I think we need to kick some people down. Maybe 2 people need to drop down just for
I can drop
10 minutes.
Okay, Robot, I'll drop you for a minute, and
cool.
I can drop you.
Yeah, if a few people don't mind dropping, I can bring some.
I can drop and come back up.
Sweet,
we need to bring English up. Okay, English is back.
Yeah, and then SQ under Little Prop House and Baba as well. While that's happening, actually, the Little Noun Show POAP is live now, so if anybody wants to claim that, the secret word is nouns with howlers, and howlers is spelled HOWLERZ. So nouns with howlers, that's our POAP, and it's all lowercase as well. And for our ETH giveaway as well, we'll probably do that just right at the end of this 10 minutes. It's the first pinned tweet of the show. If we just retweet that, and then Crush will do a Twitter picker, and we'll sort you out with some ETH. We're quite on the scale of the Noun Square, so ours is like 0.420 rather than 0.69. But we're trying to keep on their coattails.
I would rather get yours, to be honest. It's more memey.
and for those,
do you mind reading the word one more time?
I was gonna say for those that don't speak British, it's
I was gonna say.
it's nouns with howlers, and howlers is with a Z. So he said Z, which I know what that means, but I'm not sure everybody else does. So he just means that you spell howlers with the letter Z in British. But
I don't think you know what a British person sounds like.
I hang around all of them all the time.
He knows what a Welsh person sounds like.
Oh,
yeah, Welsh maybe. British, I'm not so sure.
My name is English, kind.
Oh, we could get into the nuances here, but I think.
I mean, I do take your point that there's no need for them to have so many accents on one little island, but nonetheless.
Happy days, right? So yeah, we've got SQ and Barbara up here. They're the 2 of the. Was it 5 guys? The little reps we've got within the Little Nouns ecosystem.
Yep. I see. Yeah, we got them both up here. How's it going, guys?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
SQ, deeply sorry that we missed the bomb.
No, I was trying to get on stage to try and make it happen somehow, some way.
Manifest
you see, the unicorn's already got a 25 bid up by the same buyer, so Somebody seems to want to come in.
We've got competition.
I like it. Healthy competition. And yeah, I guess that's kind of a nice segue to what Little Reps is. It's an evolving situation, but what it is just currently a targeted group within Little Nouns that is attempting to activate the usage of our Nouns horde that we are building, our lovely horde, and currently through Prop House. And that's basically the TLDR of it, and our attempt to push that forward.
Yeah, and you guys have just recently started up your own spaces on the Noun Square as well, haven't you? Sort of, we should give a rundown. Can you just talk us through what you talk about in your spaces and what's the reason for you having that sort of presence on Twitter as well weekly?
Bobby, do you want to take that one?
The question about the Twitter Spaces, the weekly Spaces.
Yeah.
For also another prop pun, because as you said, the goal is all props all the time. Prop culture. Yeah, I think you explained really well what the focus of that space is when you do.
Oh yeah, no problem. So we meet weekly, and the idea is to provide a forum for folks to come in, interact with the little NounsDAO, and solicit votes for Prop House. I think we've had Nouns for a couple of months now, almost half a year, and historically we had very low participation in Prop House, maybe 3 votes total. And so we've worked to kind of operationalize those Nouns, have people come in, have them speak, and then deliberate, and then vote accordingly based on folks who are new to the DAO, or maybe participating members in Little Nouns, or have some interesting ideas that we think could help proliferate the meme.
I think it's really exciting. It's interesting because it's a different way of looking at prop builders in particular, because they're coming and they're giving their pitches, and then it's like you using your nouns as little nouns to vote. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. It makes little nouns a force to be reckoned with, right?
Guys, I'm wondering, what are you guys looking for when people come up and they pitch their prop to you guys as littles? What kind of things would you like to hear from them? What do you want to know about what they're doing with their prop on Prop House?
Yeah, so I think the main thing is impact. And it doesn't have to be technical, it doesn't have to be non-technical, and it doesn't have to have a particular pattern or theme. I think one thing that you'll find as you start voting more in Prop House and Little Nouns and Nouns is that being able to provide thoughtful commentary on proposals and to be able to actually vote the best ideas and provide feedback is actually really difficult and takes a lot of time. So hopefully what we want to do is to try to provide thoughtful commentary for builders, right? And then try to vote for the most impactful ideas to help Prop House be a more effective mechanism for capital deployment. And in the meantime, we also want to meet builders. We've had the pleasure of having some Nouners come on, some Prop House builders come on, talk to us about what they're working on. And we find a lot of synergy between what builders are building in Nouns Prop House and what we're building in Little Nouns. And so those intersections, I think, is kind of a really powerful thing that you get from having the forum, which is something that we really didn't have before. I hear a lot of talk of decentralization, and we have used our nouns in a decentralized way. We still do on chain, but I think one problem is that there's no entity that can kind of speak on behalf of the nouns or coordinate with the nouns. And the efforts that we had in the past, they kind of just fell away, or were in the shadows so much that no one really knew what was happening. And so we kind of just have this open forum there on the Twitter Spaces and also in the Discord where people can talk. And we get into arguments, disagreements, even today, but I think it's a big improvement from the past, because before there were no discussions, there were no disagreements, kind of things just kind of happened. So bringing it out in the open and kind of allowing people to interface and having an entity that you can actually be upset at or happy at is something that we think is like a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I would like to echo that. And, nothing's perfect, but this is definitely, I think it's a large step, given it's a boost of energy. And yeah, we might have shot out of the cannon a little too fast, but it was it was time, I guess. And just even through the voting and the activity and the constant, as Bob was saying, the discussion of how we're doing it wrong. You were talking about Juan, and Juan had a comment about, I think it was actually the Noun Square one, and your guys' prop, or no, Ugly Nouns prop, I'm sorry, about kind of the consulting thing. And I had responded to that, where you can learn so much more. And this was nothing against Ugly Nouns or the consulting aspect, because a helpful prop writer is worth its weight in gold. But as someone coming in, you could learn so much more by writing a horrible prop, but engaging and figuring out why it's so horrible, and then changing it together, possibly even growing it in a different direction that it wasn't even intended in the first place. And I feel like that is kind of what Little Reps is doing. And
in hindsight, that might have been a better angle for Ugly DAO, actually, is to help people write really terrible proposals so that they get rejected the first time and build
Ugly
character.
DAO, right?
Proposals. It would have been more on brand.
Missed opportunity, really.
I also wonder, guys, like for like the other little nouns who are like, because your Twitter space is, I guess, like its purpose is for when props are already up in Prop House. Is there, I guess, a system for coming and chatting to you little reps ahead of time, ahead of people going and like putting up their prop in Prop House and saying, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Is this something that little reps would be interested in supporting? Is there like I guess, what is like the channel in the Discord to go to, or who do people reach out to if they want to kind of take a temp check before going and putting their prop up?
That's a good point, and I think SQ made this to me earlier in the meeting about the show forum, and I was very adamant that I will only vote for people who kind of come to the show, in the sense that historically I felt that little nouns were ignored, and so I feel this is a really good way to get vision on little nouns, what we're doing, and have our builders come in, interface, and ask questions. But to SQ's point and your point, there is some limitation with time zones and making it difficult for people. So currently there is no mechanism, but this has been brought up even today before this show, and I think that's something we have to consider, how to not penalize people who are unable to attend one forum, and we have to figure that out.
Well, I think we have a little bit of that async, because, as I was saying, nothing's perfect. I think our show is doing a great service across a couple different avenues. I love Prop House, but just we're always in the Discord, stopping by the little reps. We have a general that is it's only the five of us or the six of us can type in there, but then there's the pitch to little reps. So I would say come by there and drop comments in there. Someone's always going to be coming through there, and we can at least start the conversation. If we have to make a special time, I'm all for it. It's never as good as the regular sessions and all that, but I love learning out and talking to people.
I think that's a good point too about Prop House more generally, which is that never forget that attention is extremely scarce, and people don't not pay attention to your prop because they don't like you personally or anything like that. It's just they don't have time to read them all normally. So it really is on you to make sure that you're spending time in the Discord, spending time on Twitter, telling people about your prop. Trust me, they will tell you to stop when if you're talking about it too much. People will tell you, but until that point, just tell people about your idea. That's really part of the process of building. And also, if you did a bad prop and nobody likes it, or you get bad feedback or no feedback when you do that, then it might be worth asking, how can I improve this, or how can I iterate on it? And come to these spaces too. That's another thing. If you're not invited to this space, again, it's not personal. We can only invite so many people. But if you just show up anyway and ask to come up on stage, more often than not, you're probably going to be able to come up on stage and talk about it as well. So no one's trying to gatekeep anyone. Just show up and talk about your ideas and make them better each time.
And speaking of that, guys, what do you guys have like a regular slot for your space, or does it move around? I'm one of those people in the time zone that I think misses out, unfortunately. But what time do you have it set up for now?
So it's Thursdays at 2 p.m.
No, that is
Fridays at 2 p.m. Sorry, I misspoke.
Friday. Yeah, Fridays at 2 p.m. My 2 p.m. slot is booked.
2 p.m. is a very popular slot. Yeah.
2 p.m. EST, right?
2 p.m. EST. And on that note, guys, if you go to thenounsquare.info, it's a really great site that Zargs maintains. It's basically a calendar is what it defaults to when you go there. And it's a calendar of all of our spaces all week long. And April, the only one that moves for the most part is 9 o'clock. All the rest of them are pretty set in stone unless someone needs to change it for whatever reason. So if you go and follow it for a couple of weeks, you'll start to get a pretty good sense of what's happening at what time.
Mayhem.
It's a bit of mayhem, but it's controlled mayhem. Put it that way.
SQ, your 2 p.m. regular slot is unfortunately 4 a.m. for me, which means we don't get to hang in many spaces unless it's this one. But I'll try to listen back for sure, and hopefully, like as you guys said, creating like a good forum in the Discord for those to get a chance who don't want to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, or perhaps they should if they've got a prop up.
I mean, that's what Baba was saying about, I do get that aspect of it, but I don't think you should have to, I suppose. It for me, it's convenient, right? I'm in Chicago. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I guess convenience relative. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate that people would do that, and I do agree that, like, for me, for instance, you said kind of what are people looking for. We all have different aspects of what we think how we should be voting the nouns, I suppose. And for me in particular, coming to a show like that, if it was versus an equal, in my opinion, prop, if one had come to the show and one had not, I would pick the person who had come to the show, so it definitely does hold some weight. I just don't want it for me to be the end all be all.
I think the reps should just discuss them I think the reps should honestly just discuss all the props on their merits. And obviously your attention is going to probably be held by those that come to the show or talk to you or make an effort to tell you about their props. But I don't really know if you really need to have a rule about you have to be on the space. Just, it's one of the venues that people can talk to little reps to tell them about their prop. Doesn't that work? Yeah, no, and some of it is just as you talk to people, as you know, Tody and April, everybody here, you just learn so much more about it than some of them are like 8 sentences, on an entire thing. And then you're like, that's kind of interesting, but I also don't understand it at all. So you get a lot more out of it. And that's why we think as, the time, the ability for people to be able to make it. So providing these different times, different platforms, I think is just helpful to the builders.
And how have you guys found round 12? Have you guys cast the votes yet?
Yeah, have you?
I don't know that we have at this moment. I believe.
Oh wait! Cancel. No, Alpha. Sorry, I thought we were getting.
I believe we're leaning Becco. I think it's in the Discord and everything. I think people can see it. I don't think I'm breaking anything. I think we've actually had some upheaval about it. But
are the reps giving all their votes to one, or have they thought about splitting them up, or?
We've thought about a lot of things. I feel like we're back in the Discord. We gotta move on. I'm breaking up. No.
That's cool. Becco's prop was pretty cool. If you guys hadn't seen it, it's a prop to do Christmas carols with a nounish twist and do a video and everything. It did look pretty cool.
So I will put my reasoning for that. I voted for a couple of them, but Becco was definitely one I voted for, and I was in the choir and a little bit of theater coming up, so I have a little bit of that type of music. I have a soft spot.
Wait, SQ, you're a theater kid? You can't be serious. No way.
No way. Only for a little bit. It was like I did a little thing with it on the side. But no, I just think it could go a long way to kind of similar to the Stupid Buddy, the IRL, even if it was like a parody of the nouns that they just got out there, it's more of just the cross because it's already kind of a silly environment that they're pulling out, and then a wholesomeness of Christmas theme. I just think there is a lot of potential reach, to come out of that across all medias. So
I think the holidays are nounish, and I mean, imagine maybe she can get Santa to wear the goggles or something. That'd be huge.
I think she must already.
Okay,
All right, guys.
awesome, guys. I think we'll leave you to it unless anyone else had any questions for the little reps.
Not particularly. Just probably what you obviously got voted in. Is there a process where every like 6 months there's like a roll-in vote, or is it like set in stone? At what point do the 5 little reps either get replaced, carry on? How does that work?
So you're from overseas, I guess. So I don't know if you know how it works. We're like Supreme Court justices. We now serve for life.
I thought he was going to be like, "You're from overseas. I'm not sure if you've heard of democracy."
Yeah,
I was waiting for something like it.
Yeah.
We actually are. I think I don't know. We didn't have anything set up, and it's been a really fast-moving, lots of pivots. And this is kind of some of the contention that we've seen. Is it's very ambiguous as to it. So we do need to get that settled. And Baba's been the first one out there.
The short answer is it's an appointment for life. So
kind of. I wasn't totally lying when I led.
But there are ways around that. I'll just leave it at that.
There's always ways.
We do need to move along here, guys, because we do have a guest for 9 o'clock too, and I don't want to keep everybody all night as much as that would be fun. But super fun to hear about you folks. Was there anything else that we missed? You did the PO app. You said do you have a draw to do first?
Yeah, we've got like an ETH giveaway. But yeah, cheers to Baba and SQ for coming on. Obviously, check out their spaces on Friday 2 p.m. EST. Crusher, do you want to do the Twitter picker for the ETH giveaway? Then we'll just roll it over to the Noun Square to have their guest spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get it pulled up here, and we will roll it.
This is where we usually have a little drum roll, but
so
I got a drum roll for you here.
Go on, Toady.
So the winner. Let me make sure he's in the crowd, because the winner is AA Kur. I'm not sure who the appreciate that. I don't see them in the don't see them in the audience right now.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
The name is Andrei Kurnayawan.
You don't say the name. You don't say the name. You're going to re-roll it.
Andre's here. Andre's here.
I want to make sure I'm not missing them in the
Andre's here.
audience, because
Andre's here. I see him.
He's flicking up. He's flicking up the hundreds. He's like, fuck me. Yeah, we'll DM you, man. We'll DM you.
He's like, bro, I'm right here.
I've got the noggles on. What the fuck?
Well, that's what. Yeah. Awesome. So, do we want to do? Are we going to do a separate drawing for Noah's for the Howlers?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I will roll that real
How
quick.
excited.
So the winner of the Howler and Prey is Mind Toasted OS, or Mind Toasted. Oh, and I see him in the crowd. So congratulations, Mind Toasted. You have won a Howler and a Prey. It can now participate in Act 3 of the Howlers.
Awesome stuff. I followed both of you guys anyway, so I'll just drop you a DM with some info after this. But yeah, Toady, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. It was super fun.
Yeah, always is. We appreciate it. I think this will probably be the last one we do together for a while now, or will everyone sort of cut into the last bit? I can't really think.
Yeah, we're just roaming through, so thanks for letting us sleep on the floor, and we'll be out of your hair by next week, I promise.
Anytime. You guys are welcome anytime.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks very much,
guys. It was good fun.
Amazing. All right. So what we're going to do here now is, don't worry, we'll let you go pretty soon, like within 10 to 15 minutes. We're just going to have a quick chat about Nouns Prop 175. So I've got Brad Q here, but I want to also bring up Andrew Ladisaw, who I see down here. I'm not sure if is he able to speak, Brad, or is he tied up? I saw him down there.
I'm not sure.
Okay. I do need a couple people to drop. Who is able to drop
if
for
you
me?
need me to. I'll drop if you need me to. This is Crusher. I'll drop down and just listen.
Yeah, and I'll drop down as well. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out too, Tony.
All right. Rotate. It's like this is like a volleyball game. This is a volleyball game spaces. Everybody rotate. We just got the point. All right. Looks like everybody is here. Just Woody's here. Perfect. So I got the whole team here. Who wants to take a stab at explaining to everybody in the briefest amount of words possible what is Prop 175 all about?
You want me to take a stab at it, Tony?
No pressure.
Go
All right,
ahead,
Andrew, go for it.
All right, cool. So, 175 is really all about helping builders navigate the whole Nouns ecosystem and helping them to be onboarded into the system and find funding so that they can focus on building. So we want to create a community around active builders, not just people that have built things in the past, but people that are actively building something to have like kind of a constant startup feel within NounsDAO, and that give people a great first experience when they come into the community. So that's my shortest, least words possible, but I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more than that.
Awesome. All right. Does anybody on the stage who's not part of the prop have a question about the prop? Joshua Fisher, you must have some questions. I'm sure you always have questions about things. You're a very questionable fella.
I do have a lot of thoughts around this prop and around the conversations that it's sparking. And I guess I should start by saying I definitely think this is a service that people want. And I do probably understand some of the desires for scalability and like long-term sustainability of things like this, and I'm interested to see where that goes. But I definitely think that people want this type of thing and need this type of thing. I guess there's like a question of like, what is the right type of prop to make nouns? Like if you could like, let's say you get to choose the perfect prop comes in, like what kind of proposer do you see, this crew being the most suited to work with?
That's a good question.
Great question. That's a really good question. I'll take a stab, and then I'll let Andrew jump in. I think there's a couple different sort of, segments of people that we're going to be working with. One is those who are already within the Nouns ecosystem, but might be wanting to do something a little bigger or something more, find sustainable revenue streams and things like that. And then there's those who are outside of the Nouns ecosystem who are either curious or we think they have something to offer us. So I'm thinking of a particular artist that I've already had some conversations with, who I think could develop a really interesting collection that would have both physical and possibly digital pieces to it. But they don't know where to start, honestly. They know of Nouns, they know a little bit, but they don't know where to start the process. So that's going to be a little bit more involved, and that's going to take a little bit longer and a little bit more hand-holding to get a prop that for that kind of instance, where that would definitely be on-chain. Where something else, where we're working with a builder internally, we might be just helping them find the right funding. Like maybe they need to be going to little nouns, maybe they need to be going to food nouns. And so some of that might also be directing them to the right source of funding and the right community that might be the best fit for what they're trying to build. And Andrew, you want to take anything I missed?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been kind of struggling with this too because Elad has had that similar question in the jungle, and he was talking about, he wants to get really excited about it, but he's looking for specific builders, and that's what I think is that we don't know exactly where this is gonna go, but in like my perfect world is that we would be like onboarding all different kinds of builders into the ecosystem at the same time. We'd be trying to aggregate a bunch of different data. So if we could have, say, if we could build an ongoing survey of nouners of like, what are the kinds of props that you're looking for over the next year? Like, what do you think needs to take it to the next level? Because ultimately, it doesn't really matter what Propbox thinks. It matters what Nouners think. So, but if we can communicate that from Nouners to builders, I think that would help us a lot. So it's really kind of coming up with that toolbox. So when builders come into the community, they can know what Nouners want, and if they're barking up the wrong tree for what they're trying to do as well. It's because there's a lot of that happening if you read a lot of the discourse as well. So so that's one thing. The other part is like, this is not supposed to be the 5 of us and no more. This would be like a trial period over the next few months. And my dream over the next year, if this really comes to fruition, is we might have 50 like really experienced people in the Propbox in Discord that would be helping other builders and onboarding them into the community. So we want to come up with ways that are going to make it sustainable, to bring more people on board, more specialization, so that we can really see this expand and be a tool that's going to grow with the DAO. So when we talk about sustainability and like something that can scale, I don't see any other way for this to scale other than something like this that's like open and built as a large community.
I just want to add one thing that I forgot to mention too. When we're meeting with somebody and assessing what they want to do, one of the other tools we might access is Nouns Builder, which I've been working with and helping people with. So that's going to be another aspect of this where that might be the right direction for a particular project. Or somebody might be coming to me thinking that they want to create a DAO, and it turns out what they really should be doing, and this literally happened, was probably putting together a proposal. Probably for either DCS or on chain. So you know what I mean? So it's a matter of also looking at what is the thing you're coming to us with, and then figuring out what's the right fit. And then, as the thread that Andrew mentioned earlier, collecting data as we go along. We need to be experimenting more so that we have more data to figure out what's really working well, what's giving us ROI, what's meeting that proliferation need and all of that, and like figuring out what are those threads so we know, okay, these kinds of props are the best at XYZ. We should really start to lean more into that. So having that data would be really helpful overall.
Brad, we've got Brad here as well as also a member of the prop team. What would you say to people who have said already that there's not a need for this, that everything people need to be able to write a prop is already available to them through resources like Noun Center or by availing themselves of prop house rounds? What would be your response to that particular criticism that I've heard already?
Yeah, I've appreciated that question as well and given it some thought. And I think the reality, the question says, we've got Noun Center, we've got these different things, and we love those things, discourse, the Noun Center framework and things like that. I think this is an opportunity, this incubator is an opportunity for us as those who have been around a while to really pause and think, what's it like to come into this ecosystem when you don't know what's going on? And so to direct people to the Noun Center, to direct people to the other tools is a great orientation. Like, it's phenomenal stuff that CDT and others have put together to say, this is kind of your whole ecosystem from a helicopter. This is where you go. This is some opportunities. You can try this, you can try that. But I think what people, especially new people who are struggling, people who don't know how to do some of these things are realizing is, what I would say the incubator is taking the difference between putting a car engine together using YouTube. Hey, if you know what you're doing, if you're a mechanic, you can use YouTube and rebuild a car engine. But if you're not mechanical and you don't even know what the undercarriage of a car looks like, you would rather have a few mechanics come with you on a Saturday afternoon and hang out and look over your shoulder and say, oh, no. Don't put that there. We've made that mistake 100 times. Let's do this.
Obligatory NMA, not mechanical advice.
Right, not mechanical advice. But there's a dynamic there that it's easy for all of us in anything we get involved with to start to see it as normal and to start to, of course, we know how to do this, that. We know how to write proposals and things like that. But there are a lot of builders who, they don't even know how to use Markdown. They're not tech people. They don't know how to create a video that conveys their idea. They don't even know what their idea, I mean, they know what their idea is, but they don't know how to convey it. And who are they conveying it to? And what's this Noun Square thing that I should be on? And what's this jungle? Like, there's a whole world there that you're just standing and looking at, just with your mouth open going, I don't even know where to go. And so a lot of people are falling through we think people are falling through the cracks. People are struggling. And when we say we're early, what we're realizing is, well, that requires people to come alongside, shepherd people through this process from day one when you show up and post your little idea in discourse, all the way through to your second and third proposal, to continuing to build, to pairing up with other people. It's that type of dynamic that we're trying to build with this incubator, so that it's not just stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon and you see that path. You can see the path, can't you? Just walk down that path. And we're saying, no, you need like a leader and a mule team and water and food, and we'll help get you to the bottom and bring you back up.
Prop box your nounish mules. Is that, have you guys thought about using that? I think I have to agree with that. I do think that saying that all of the resources exist to make a successful proposal is the epitome of pulling the ladder back up after yourself, because you're forgetting what it was like for you when you first joined Nouns and you didn't know anything. Hell, I've been in Nouns for a year. I have a lot of connections. I know how to navigate the DAO, and a prop I sponsored last week almost failed, right? People who are brand new to the DAO are really up against it, and they do need help. That's all I'll say. Joshua?
Yeah, I'm curious, what are the right, like going back to like the right type of proposals and proposers for on-chain and for now, the DCS and the prop house and small grants. Like, do you see this service being more of something for like big on-chain builders, like, OX Gamis, who's able to spin up entire brands, or like, B-Noun, who's able to spin up entire regions? Or is this more for like onboarding individuals who might then join a group like that?
I think, I think it goes both ways, because I think a lot of people come in with big ideas into NounsDAO, and they get the idea that they should just go for 100 ETH ask right away. But they have an idea that can be scaled down to maybe get a prop house round, so they can get an ETH just to test something out, prove the concept a little bit, and then advance further. So I think that's the problem a lot of new people face. And then other people have the opposite thing. They have this small idea, but those of us that are in the community can see like, whoa, that's not a 2 ETH idea. That's a 200 ETH idea, and that scales, and man, we need that badly. And so it's really obvious to us, but it's not obvious to that new person coming in. So I think we see it go both ways, Josh. Like, it's not something like one size fits all and we should only go after the big fish. It's like when new people come in, they just need help to like figure out where they fit.
If I can just add like one thing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, can I just add one thing, and then Ryan? Absolutely. Just to that point, I think down the road, as we develop some processes, you might be able to be like, okay, for Propbox, that's where you go when it's a big on-chain thing. And then maybe we already have a process to filter elsewhere. But I think right now it's going to be a little bit of everything. There's going to be some larger on-chain props that I'm already talking with people about. And then there's going to be other things that are much smaller and they need to be directed elsewhere. So it's going to be a little bit of both. Sorry, Ryan.
When I give that answer, I'm using like our original kind of dozen people that we've helped out. A couple of them went to on-chain asks, but a couple of them were like, hey, this scales down and you should just go for a smaller prop house win. And I think it's a slam dunk. And then you'll have some trust and you can move forward. And we had two others that ended up on chain. So
I love that. And I think that's the right approach, because in Nouns, whether it's the right way or not, we do like to see some level of dedication to the protocol and to the meme and understanding of the community. So, if you can come in and do a proof of concept where you're getting rewarded for your time and effort spent with the upside, and then that can move on to, a bigger on-chain thing or other, members of the community supporting you. That's really important part of what we're doing. So thank you for all this.
Yeah, and I think Propbox, if it's really successful, it'll make on-chain better. It'll make DCS better. It'll make small grants or NSFW better. It's going to improve all those things because we want to, I don't know, just kind of be the oil there for between the new builder and the Nouns machine. Sorry, Ryan.
I think we might have lost Ryan's question there. Yeah, Ryan, do you have a question for them still?
Yeah, if you don't mind. I'm kind of like an outside party looking and reading all the stuff in the jungle. What do you guys say to the people that say this is kind of like a pay to play thing? Is there a response for that one? Because that's what I've seen in the jungle, and I just want to see what your actual response is to that.
I could take a stab at that.
Yeah, I'll probably add some stuff. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So I think that when I think about this and how this idea came about, I mean, it started with all of us being in Nounsel and Andrew kind of running this incubator and several of us enjoying being on discourse and meeting new people and helping them point in a certain direction. And the formation of this, we have a very nounish, Nounsel spirit about things. And so we actually desire to see, these builders brought in so that the treasury is dispersed far wider and far greater to proliferate the meme. We want to be paid for our work. I think Andrew has an RV parked on Discourse. He's just there.
Yeah.
And I think that him doing that is wonderful and nounish. And, I see other people out there. I see Sam Ellis out there on Discord, profs, meeting with people. I spend a little bit of time there. But the idea, as far as I have seen it come about with Ugly DAO and Propbox, is to say, how can we pool our abilities and our experience and our knowledge of the history of the DAO and props and things like that? And yes, do it in such a way that we can scale it, do it in such a way that we can actually afford to put the time in, as opposed to trying to find an hour on a Saturday morning or, Andrew trying to find an hour a day during his work. How can we do this in a way that we cannot, hit a few people and work with a few things, but can we do a trial and see if we put more time in, if we put more energy in, and if we get compensated to be able to do that, can we create something that is scalable, like Andrew said, to, eventually, his dream is to bring 100 people into this Builders Guild and be working on that. So, I understand the kind of concern if you're doing an equation and saying, well, they're asking for this much and, here's what they're doing. But really what we're saying is we want to do an incubator that takes a builder from day one all the way through in their nounish journey. And we just want to be compensated for being able to focus on that and give our best to it and bring more people in. And we're not looking to rearrange the treasury for us. And I'm not saying people are saying that. That's not our desire. Our desire is to be part of a championship team that is trying to build the next Hello Kitty or Disney, but in a nounish, good-spirited, doing good for the world kind of way.
Thanks, Brad. Does anyone else we're running a little bit over time, so we do need to wrap it up pretty quickly, but does anyone else have a final question before we do that or comment?
Yeah, I'll put 2 cents in on that. Just that I really, I see the DAO, and I don't know if you guys see this too, but we've seen on-chain proposals, there be finder's fees and those kinds of things. And I do think that there's kind of a pay-to-play thing that's probably already developing, and I'd rather see that thing develop in public in a way that everyone agrees is fair. I don't know what that's actually going to look like down the road, but I do think that that's going to be a part of the DAO one way or the other, and I would rather see it go a route like this where it's nounish builders helping nounish builders than a route where it's we're constantly filling funding pools and paying people, or people are getting payments for their nouns behind the scenes after the prop goes through. I have no idea how that's going to work, but I just think the more open, the better, and the more that we can build in public, the better. So that was kind of my 2 cents. But I'm not looking to get rich on nouns, and if I was, I'm definitely doing it wrong because I'm spending I'm spending a lot of time on
That's for
discourse,
sure,
and
right?
I'm trying to just help people, and that's my desire.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to see this go.
And I'll
Because
just
I
say,
think these tools are
I'll
going to
just,
be really good for people.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and I
I'll
don't
just
feel
say,
one
like,
way
to
or
my,
another about it.
yeah.
I just wanted
And
to ask
Ryan,
the
I
question because
appreciate,
it's yeah, it's
I
the
appreciate your
questions in the
question. It's a
Discord, so
good
I just
question.
wanted to bring it out in the open. That's all.
Yeah,
And
I
it's a
appreciate
really
that
good
you're
question.
someone's, it's out there. So, but I'll just say that to my point, it's kind of funny because I've literally been, the thing we're talking about doing is something we've been doing for a long time. But a lot of people don't realize it. We haven't been compensated for it, nor have we, expected to be it yet. And it's just kind of funny. It's like, you really want this, but we're just not sure we want to pay for it, but that's okay. And you know what? And that's part of the conversation. And I think that's good. But in terms of like anything being like unethical or untoward or anything like that, I think that's gotten just crazy.
Well, I don't know.
This
Somebody
all,
told
this,
me,
it's
and
kind
maybe
of
I got
weird.
the wrong. Somebody told me, and maybe I got the wrong memo. But I thought we were supposed to get together and build things on this protocol with our friends.
That's
That's
what
what I
I
was told.
thought.
And
I
I
was
thought we were
told
supposed to be
that.
rewarded.
Yeah.
I don't see
Yeah.
what's
I
the
was
reason with
told I was going to
like
be rewarded handsomely. Yes. And mostly,
funding
by the
this.
way, if you look at my wallet, you will see a lot more out than in. I'll say that.
Well, I
I
think
have
if
a lot
100%.
people
more
are new and they
nounish,
get
We
their
figured out
stuff in
your
my
prop
problem,
wallet.
pass,
Prof.
if people
Yeah.
get their prop pass from like the beginning, I think there's
Yeah.
a need case for
There's
it, and
no
the
way.
money should be
Sure.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say
No,
this,
there's
like,
no, I mean, we're not promising anybody that their prop's going to get passed. No, it's like, we'll help you figure out a way to build the thing that you really want to build. Especially if it's a really cool thing that's going to help nouns. We want to just help you do that. We have no way to guarantee anything, like anything at all. By the way, nounders always have a veto. Like, don't everybody forget that. Like, if something really is off or unethical or like damaging to the
A,
protocol,
a
don't worry
veto,
about it.
56 votes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woody, you
Like,
were
we're
gonna say
good. They got
you were
it.
gonna say
Yeah.
something, Woody?
yeah. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. I haven't really talked on this matter, but I see it as like, kind of equated to the Noun Square a little bit because we're kind of a pod in our own right. And it started off with a core group of maybe 12 of us that were doing a daily show. And now I don't even know how many soapboxes we have. I don't know how many contests we're running. There's 1 million people involved.
A lot.
And it's becoming something like crazy that we couldn't even picture when we started it, right? Like, it's just out of control. There's so many people involved.
30
And like,
soapboxes, 20 employees. Yeah.
oh dude, it's crazy, right? And so if we kind of equate that to what we're trying to do with this, we're contributors on the prop, right? But like, we're going to utilize Ugly DAO and other people in the DAO and compensate them for their time to contribute. So if someone's an expert on X, Y, and Z, we're going to go tap that person and be like, hey, can you help out? We're going to compensate you for your time, to help this builder come and get onboarded into the DAO in a great way. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind when the question comes up of like, oh, it's going to be gate kept and how does it scale? I think it scales in a very similar way because ultimately it would be amazing if we got good enough as a community to have this be a big thing that multiple people in multiple different communities can be contributing to and being compensated for their time accordingly. So it's not something like, I mean, believe me, the ask we're asking for is like pretty minuscule. We're just trying to get the ball rolling. And like, we're really excited to test this out because we really think it's going to work. And we've been doing it and we're passionate about proposals, like I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was the first person that did like a doxed video proposal that was like, hey, my name's Woody and this is what I'm going to do. Right. Like, I think that
Yeah.
more
Why
of
did
those
you
things.
talk? Why did you talk in that voice? I never understood that.
Oh, because
That
I
voice is
don't know.
funny.
I know. But
That's his
you know what I'm saying?
proposal
Like,
voice.
I think that that's the natural progression. You look at House of Nouns, like offering that as a video, make a video proposal for your proposal as a service now. And I think those sorts of things that are growing off of the main part of the protocol are the important things, and that's essentially what we're trying to do, is just grow.
Yeah, I did think that was a weird criticism. One person said, well, what, you're going to help people do videos for the proposal. Well, House of Nouns is doing that. And it's like, well, yeah, exactly. It's a good idea. That's why people are doing it, including
and House of Nouns can come into
Multiple
Dropbox
people,
and get
Tony,
paid for it
too. Like
potentially.
it's taken me 3 months to learn how to do the auction cadence for dining nouns, and like nobody's helped me, right? Like I'm sure if I could have got help 3 months ago and not wasted 3 months, I could have got my project out a long time ago. But
for sure, yeah.
I've had
Or
I've
you
had
know,
to
if
learn
you run
the
into
entire thing myself. So
yours is an example too, where I think you lost your dev at some point. Like that's another thing that I think could be helpful for people who are trying to navigate and build something. And if they lose a member of their team or something, for them to be able to come and ask for advice and maybe, you know, meet other people within the DAO that could help them. These are all things that are really valuable. And when people say like we need to prepare the protocol for the future and everything needs to be on a protocol, they're forgetting that trains run on rails, but they still have conductors. You still have to have people that help people to get on the rails. You know what I mean? Like you can't just have Prop House is amazing. I work with Prop House community since like February, but like the amount of questions that Seneca and CDT and even I get on a daily basis on how to even just use the protocol would blow your mind. So I mean, even having great infrastructure like Prop House doesn't automatically mean that every builder is going to be able to navigate that protocol without help from people that know how to do it.
Absolutely. And that's, you know, Ryan, you just made some really great points too about some of the challenges that you're having. One of the other things I was doing with Nounish Consultants, which I'm hoping we can roll into this eventually, is something like a virtual coffee shop and job boards and things like that, where it's like, I need a dev who can do this, this, and this. And you can match people up and be like, hey, this person's looking for this. And that's an extension, and it's something that doesn't seem like it's connected, but it kind of is, because people will come with an idea, but they have resources missing. So some of what we kind of already do is connect people, and I do it without even realizing I'm doing it. I did it 2 days ago when I was on, I jumped on a space with one of the Lil Nouns, and they were doing something with Rug Radio, and then I connected them. They were talking about Agora, and then I got that person from Rug Radio in a chat with Yitong to make that happen. Those weird little things are really hard to like explain or put in a prop or understand, but they happen all the time. And that's one of those things that like we just do as a group naturally. So I think we'll do more of that to try and take away some of those friction for builders and continue to scale that aspect of it.
Yeah, my partner yells at me every day for making those introductions, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, I get yelled at every day for that.
I do think we could probably talk about this all night, but we shan't. We shall wrap it up so that people can go back to their families. But I will say that people responded really well to the Agora debate that happened the week before last, and we'd like to do it again. We didn't do one last week because of Thanksgiving, but we have just scheduled a debate with the Agora folks, and they want to do it tomorrow. So that's going to be happening tomorrow at 5:30 EST. You'll get another chance to hear about Prop 175. We are going to specifically ask some people who are against the prop to come and speak against it, and have a couple reps from the prop speak for it. And it should be an interesting conversation similar to today, but hopefully with a bit more aggressive against as well, so we can really get both sides of the issue and get into the nitty gritty. So that'll be happening tomorrow at 5:30 EST.
You guys want me to do some against real quick?
Yeah, go. No, we don't have time today. Save it for tomorrow.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to.
Do it.
You just nominated yourself.
You can come tomorrow.
It's funny. It's harder than you think. I remember Yitong did the against NNS, and he's like, I'm not even like really against it. I just had a few things to go against it. It was so hard to go publicly against something that you.
I'm just
like.
gonna.
Not easy.
If I do against, I'm just gonna like not really listen to the explanations and just keep saying the same stuff, and just like and just also attack people.
There you go.
No, I think we can get a good argument against, so we can get some good discourse tomorrow. So, all right,
there is some like there's plenty of pros and cons for any idea that's ever been successful. So,
For sure. And this is part of it, for sure. Joshua, you have a little bit of housekeeping quickly to take care of on the contest front. And then speaking of contests, I've got a winner for the Twitter repicker, so I'll let you go first. I'll give the winner, and then we'll close out with Ryan Mack's POAP.
Nice. So I have released the top 10 in the running for the Cosmo Arts in a World contest. So if you see at the top of this Spaces, pinned is the thread that it contains all the winners and their art. Some really fun stuff. I can't wait to see what Cosmos ultimately decides, and we should have the winner decided hopefully within the next 2 days. So by Wednesday, Thursday, we'll have the winners announced for this contest. And the Nouns Highlight Reel contest is being judged as we speak. So those winners will be announced this week as well. And as we mentioned over the weekend, we'll be launching creator contests this week. So for any of you football fans out there, maybe there's a little something coming your way.
Ooh, sounds good. One last item, too, on the contest. I just pinned it up. We're running a fun little one-off contest right now, piggybacking off of the initiative that Mike Good spearheaded a couple days ago to try to replace the non-PG-13 definition for noggles that was currently on Urban Dictionary. So he put a nice, clean, nounish noggles definition there and got a lot of people to retweet it. And it was up to 100 likes, and it was the main definition now on Urban Dictionary. But we thought, hey, let's just pile on here. Let's see how many likes we can get on this so that it's never dethroned. And then for some bonus points, if you want, you can also add additional nounish noggle definitions. Screenshot it, quote tweet the contest entry above, and then we're going to choose 3 winners for 0.069 ETH tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So easy peasy, one to enter. All you got to do is go to that site, add a like to the Noggles definition, to the right Noggles definition, not the bad one, and then screenshot it and go tweet.
Hey, Tody, did Little Nouns have to give away something in a POAP too, or we skip over that?
No, you might have missed it, but they did it. Yeah, we're all good there.
Oh, got it.
And we do have a retweet picker for our own draw. And actually, funny enough, the top picked one was Andrew Ladisaw.
Yay!
Andrew Ladisaw. I'm going to take a screenshot.
You better redraw so we don't get accused of collusion here, my man.
All right. Redraw is Lil BK. How's that? You guys can both. We'll give out extra ones. Lil BK is the next winner.
Cody's always paying me behind the back.
Lil BK, congratulations. You won the 0.069 ETH.
That didn't sound right, Andrew.
All right. Can we get a POAP, Ryan?
Yes, you can. You can go up to poap.xyz or open the POAP app. When you open the app, you hit the mint button, then the secret word tab. And today's secret word is I'm the bomb 00.
I'm the bomb 00.
I am.
You missed the 7.
Yeah, you missed that yesterday.
I left it off today. Wasn't feeling it.
Interesting.
All right.
Just
I'd love to know how your mind works, Ryan, but we don't have time for that tonight.
Yes,
you'll never
Tony?
understand.
An enigma wrapped in a mystery.
Something like that, yeah, for sure. Don't forget to go get your Nomo if you didn't get it already. Soda float.
Next up is
pretty good looking
milk
one.
And cookies. Milk and cookies,
Yep.
8 o'clock.
Coming up, we almost ran into milk and cookies. Wow, we went super long.
Yep.
10 o'clock or 8 o'clock, sorry, in 12 minutes. What are you guys doing on milk and cookies?
What are you guys gonna do for? You don't have
Prof.
anything to do for the next 10 minutes. What are you gonna do?
I know,
Hey,
right?
Prof, suck it up and bake some cookies.
Go bake some freaking cookies. So usually just no bakes the cookies. I just talk about the cookies she's baking. We're doing some kind of Miami Cuban cookie tonight. So like literally, if you guys don't know, it's the Food Nouns Show. We talk about nounish things, and then we talk about some cookie that is picked each week. The recipe's in the recipe box in the Food Nouns Discord, and it's also on our POAP. So we were actually spotlighted with POAP for having this kind of unique POAP that we've been doing. So you have a little recipe cards.
Oh, that's
on
cool.
your POAP. There you go.
So
come on by in like 11 minutes.
11 minutes. See, we did have to wrap up, or we would have just taken your slot altogether.
Who's starting, anyways?
Probably
Just so
Al.
I
Seems
know.
like something Al would do.
No, I think Ryan
No,
Mack's
that
got this one.
That's Ryan.
Mac, you're up. All right, we'll
Ryan,
shut
you're
it
back.
down. We'll let the engine cool a little bit for 5 minutes, and then Ryan can start her back up again for you guys in 5 or 10 rather. All right.
Awesome.
See you
That's all we
soon.
got.
Have a good one. Thanks for everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Closing time. Hit it.
Closing time. If only I had a song. Is there a song about unicorns that we can play ourselves out on?
Yeah,
you could play
it's the green
Erasure
alligators.
Always. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that too.
It was on the robot unicorn game.
Is this a song? What's the
That's
this is called the Unicorn Song by the Irish Rovers.
Yes, you guys have not heard this? We used to sing it at every Irish bar.
Oh, Ryan's gonna love this one.
It has
Oh,
ancestry.
shit.
There's a dance.
See ya.
Oh no.
I have no idea what this is.
This is really good.
Wait.
See,
he said it. We can go now.
You can go now. Bye.
Rugged.
Bye.
Great choice of music as always, Odie.